So we have some hand motions that we're going to be doing this morning, and I hope that you join us in singing along. And these are the hand motions, so everybody just do this with me. We're going to say love grows. One by one. Two by two. And four by four. Love grows. Round in a circle. And it comes back knocking on my heart's door. All right, here we go from the top. You ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. Love grows one by one, two by two, and four by four. Love grows round in a circle and comes back knocking on my heart's door. That was really good. Let's do it again. 5, 6, 7, 8. Love grows one by one, two by two, and four by four. Love grows round in a circle and comes back knocking on my heart's door. Now, we're going to do some play acting here. So I want y'all to pretend that you just came from the OK Corral. And we're going to sing it again. Here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8. Love grows one by one, two by two, and four by four. Love grows round in a circle and comes back knocking on my heart's door. All right. Now we've just stepped off the stage at the Metropolitan. Oh. Now we're going to sing it again. 5, 6, 7, 8. Love grows one by one, two by two, and four by four. Love is round in a circle, comes back knocking on my heart's door. That's not the only opera we have. 5, 6, 7, 8. Love grows one by one, two by two, and four by four. Love grows round in a circle and comes back knocking on my heart's door. Now for my favorite. This is my favorite one. We're all kitty cats.
As a mom, as a human, try to live my life every day from a place of selfless service, which you may have heard called Seva. But really this is giving of ourselves from a place of devotion and not expecting anything in return, whether that be a good or a service or gratitude or really even that attachment to that feeling we get when we give to others as well. And I found myself this week in a moment where there was an offer to be of service to others, and I felt a little conflicted. This happened at my weekly meditation where, for me, this is where I go to have my cup filled, right? So that I can rest and regenerate and move through my week. And it just so happened at the last moment, there was an opportunity to step in as a practitioner. And so I had this little conflict. I'm like, wait, this is my time for me. And, but then, but no, I want to give to others. So I sat with it for a moment, and I knew when the moment came that the right thing for me to do was to step in to hopefully be of service to others, to help create that space for them to heal themselves. And so I did, and I wanted to do that in a way in which there was, zero fanfare or recognition. So I waited until everyone was eyes closed, out for the count, and then stepped in. But what happened was something altogether different than what I expected. Because I wasn't able to just give. I received something so great. It was one of those life-changing moments. And this came to me as a message through one of the other practitioners and an experience to where there was a huge energetic shift within me. And I had this moment of awareness that, it truly is in giving that we receive. And those two things are dualities. They cannot be separate from one another. And that at every moment, whether we're choosing to give to others or not, we are actually receiving. Because that source that we come from, that love, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, that energy is always there. Always loving us, always supporting us, always filling our cup. And I think in that moment, my cup was not only full, it was shattered. And so we all have that opportunity to be of service. It applies to all of us, whether we're helping ourselves or someone else. And so today, Aubrey is going to lead us into the reading as our prayer. And this was written by Albert Schweitzer in a letter to students of a school for nurses. So everyone take a deep breath with me.
You asked me to give you a motto. Here it is, service. Let this word accompany each of you throughout your life. Let it be before you as you seek your way and your duty in the world. May it be recalled to your minds if ever you are tempted to forget it or set it aside. It will not always be a comfortable companion, but it will always be a faithful one. And it will be able to lead you to happiness, no matter what the experiences of your lives are. Never have this word on your lips, but keep it in your heart. And may it teach you not only to do good, but to do it simply and humbly.
And so it is.
Have you been half asleep? And have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Are these the sweet sounds that called the young sailors? I think they're one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Someday you'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Someday you'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me.
Thank you. I love Terry Mann. She does a great job on our hospitality team. She has been in service for some time. Thank you. Yeah, so now she's got her quote.
There are so many quotes that I love. but this is the one I wrote. And this really, really helped me on a day that I was really, really struggling. I was riding down the road and I happened to turn on the radio to this special program that was on, and this is what I heard. And every cell in my body relaxed. Let all things be as they are. And that's from A Course in Miracles. Let all things be as they are.
Amen.
And that's from A Course in Miracles.
Thank you. Thanks, Terry. I am so excited. Hey, have you noticed this plant sitting over here, kids?
Yes.
Have you noticed this? Did you see it? Do you remember those seeds we planted on March 31st? This is what happened to my seed. This is what happened to my seed. Right here it is. I am so excited. Do you remember what we talked about when I talked about seeds? I said everything that is necessary for that seed to become whatever it's going to become was in that little seed. Everything it needed was in there. And what it needed from me was water and sunlight and putting it in a bigger pot with some soil and more water and more sunlight, and then it became all it was going to be. It became all it was going to be. And I told you that we're the same way. When we are born, when we are just that little seed, we have everything in us that we need to become what we're going to become. And here it is. It's amazing, isn't it? You remember that seed. And we're the same way, like I said, we're the same way. So I wanted to show you that. The last Kids Sunday we had March 31st, and now I get to eat my spinach. Yeah. It looks really good. Yeah. So we just have to give it time. We have to give it some time. When we give it some time, then this is what happens. Sometimes we want to rush things, and we think we should grow up faster, or we need to, get out of first grade into second grade, or get out of grade school into high school and middle school. But we just take some time and nurture ourselves and allow our parents to help nurture us by giving us some more soil when we need it, and this is what happens. So, yeah, pretty amazing, isn't it? Yes, it is, Paula. Yes, it is. So, today's message I want to talk about, we're going to start off with a story, and Aubrey's going to read this story for us as a start to the message. Aubrey, you want to come up here and read for us?
The masters tell the story of the rabbi who disappeared every Shabbat Eve to commune with God in the forest. His congregation thought, so one Sabbath night they sent a young man to follow the rabbi and observe the holy encounter. Deeper and deeper into the woods the rabbi went until he came into the small cottage of an old Gentile woman, sick to death and crippled in a painful posture. Until there, the rabbi cooked for her and cleaned her firewood and swept the floor. Then, when the chores were finished, he returned immediately to his little house next to the synagogue. Back in the village, the people demanded an answer. Did our rabbi go to the heavens as we thought? Oh no, the young man answered after a long, thoughtful pause. Our rabbi went much higher than that.
You want a story? You might hear people talk about going to heaven like it's someplace out there. But this story talks about something different, doesn't it? It doesn't talk about going to a heaven out there, someplace in the clouds but what this story really talks about is that we can find heaven right here, and we find it when we take good care of other people, right? When we take good care. The rabbi didn't go up in some cloud somewhere. He stayed right where he was. He stayed right where he was, and he helped somebody. He found this woman and he did simple things, right? He did simple things, like some of you have done today with help. He did simple things like feeding her, cooking her something, sweeping the floors, gathering some firewood to make her warm. That's what he did, is simple things. And you know what? He didn't post it on Facebook. He didn't say, look at me, I'm so good, I'm here with her woman, look at her. There was no selfies. There was none of that going on. He went off on the eve of Shabbat and he did these things unbeknownst to anybody. That's true service. The other thing that the story talks about is he went deep and deeper into the woods. Like it wasn't around the corner. It wasn't around the corner. And I'll bet you on some days when it was really cold and rainy, he might have thought, nah, I really don't want to go deeper and deeper into the woods. But he did. But he did. Or maybe it's hot and humid like it is today, so I'd rather go to the beach than go deeper and deeper into the woods. All those mosquitoes eating me alive. But you know what he did? He showed up every day. Every week, rather. Once a week. Every week he showed up. Every week he showed up. And that made a difference. That made a difference. He didn't make an excuse of why he couldn't serve, because it gave him some discomfort. And he did it because he wanted to do it. He did it because I guess he wanted to do it. Because here's the thing. I think he knew the secret. And the secret is that you don't get to heaven after you die. You create heaven where you are. You know, that's the secret. That's the secret. And we forget that. We forget that. You create heaven exactly where you are. And you create it by serving others. That's what he did. And that's what that young man was able to observe. He went far beyond heaven. Imagine that. Isn't that exciting to think about? That I could actually go beyond what I think heaven is by being in service to others. That is pretty cool. And that's how we create heaven on earth. So service, which is the theme of today, is all about lights, camera, action. I wrote that down for you in case you forgot. All right, here it is. Lights, camera, action. It reminds me of this. It reminds you of this. Because what happens when we serve is our heart expands and we lighten up. We get light in us. And then we focus on the need that we see, and then we act. That's what it's about. This is an old theater thing, right, Kim? The old movies thing. Lights, camera, action, right, if you're the director. And we are the director. We're the director of our heart. That's really what this is. Right? Lights, lighten my heart up. Focus on what I see as a need and then act on it. Service is about action. That's what it's about. And when we act and when we do this, when we see a need and we focus on it and we act, something changes in us. Something changes in us. Like I said, our heart gets bigger. Our heart gets lighter. Our view of the world changes. It changes. And our heart expands. And what happens is we end up feeling part of something bigger than just us when we serve others. Because you know what? The world can be scary sometimes, don't you think? Like the world can be scary. We can be sad. Some days we're just sad. Some days we're depressed. We're not happy with how something went at school or at work, and we're just kind of sad. And we're that way. We're that way. It's scary. But I'll tell you what, if you practice this, lights, camera, action, it changes your whole view of your life and of the world. Let me read you this poem from one of my favorite poets, John Rodell. He said, "Whenever I feel helpless in this overwhelming world, I become a helper. Oh, my love, on the days when it feels like I have no power, I serve others. You see, whenever I wash the world's feet, my hands immediately stop shaking." Oh, isn't that a beautiful thing to think about? You know, this is the solution when I'm sad, when I'm overwhelmed, when I'm mad, when I can't get my feet on the ground, when my mom and dad yell at me and I just don't know what to do. You know, what if I just served others? What if I just imagining washing the world's feet, making the world feel better? Drop into my heart, focus on a need, and act on that need. You know what happens to worry and sadness and loneliness? It goes away. It's like magic. It's magic. It goes away. And all we have to do is serve somebody else, is serve others. That's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing. So it could be that simple. It could be that simple. So some of you children and adults too might be thinking, well, how can I start? How do I start doing that? How do I start doing that? Because it's the simple things. We don't start with the hardest thing. We start with the simple thing, right? So I wrote down some lists. And another thing I want to mention about this plant, you know, how we have everything in us that we need. Like we have this kindness and love and this ability to serve already in us, in that seed that we are. Like, we don't have to go looking for it anywhere else. It's already in us. We already have it. It's part of what and who we are. You could say it's God in me. You could say it's the divine in me. It's already there. It was there from the start. And that's how easy it is, because it's already there. So what kind of things might we do? Well, we might just like pick up the trash on the sidewalk. Like when we're walking back. How many times do we walk over the piece of trash? You know you do it sometimes. I do it sometimes. But if I was in service to the world, I would just pick it up and find a trash can. It's that simple. That's being in service. Or what about if you're at school and you have a whole bag of carrot sticks and you might just share it with somebody? You know, you just might give them a few sticks. You know, they might be like, oh man, haven't had carrots for a long time. Those are sweet. Where'd you get those carrots? And you see what happens? Lights, camera, action, and you become a part of something bigger than just having your own lunch. How about when somebody spills something on the floor? Do you walk around it or try to get away fast? Or maybe you're getting away fast to go in the kitchen and get some paper towels and help clean it up. How about that? Or carrying a grocery bag in to the door. Or what about this one? I think this is one of the most amazing things we can do, lights, camera, action, to drop in our heart. When somebody falls behind and you wait for them, amazing thing happens. Amazing thing happens. Somebody falls behind, and instead of going full blast with all the kids that are there or all the adults that are there, you just wait for the one who slipped and fell. And you just wait and you take their hand and walk. Man, that is serving others. That is serving others. And if you've ever been the one that somebody has waited for, you know how that's affected you. It's been a big deal in your life. It's been a big deal in your life. How about just holding the door for someone? We've lost that. We've lost that so often. And here's what happens. I'll tell you how powerful holding the door open is. The next person will hold the door for the next person too. 9 times out of 10, that's what will happen. You hold the door for one person, they'll stop and hold the door for the next. Can you imagine? Did we just hold the door for each other all the time? Lights, camera, action. You know, drop into my heart, serve somebody else, and it keeps going around. It builds. Be a helper. Be a helper. And pretty soon you'll walk around the world that way. You'll just see something and you'll help. And you'll help. And you'll become that. Your heart will get bigger and lighter. And you'll be able to see those things. You know, Renee and I, some time ago, we watched the show, I don't know what streaming service it was on. Who can keep up with that? Not me. It was called New Amsterdam. And there was a doctor on the show. His name was Dr. Max Goodwin. And he was the director of this hospital, right? He was the director of this hospital. So you expected him to see him in a suit, but he was always in scrubs. And he was always going around, and people would tell him all the things that they were struggling with. And you know what he said? He had one thing that he said: how can I help? How can I help? How can I help? Not, how can I make it all better? How can I fix it for you? But how can I help? How can I help? Let my heart be open enough. Let me help focus on what it is, and let me act with you and help you. Let me help. Let me help. We can become helpers. We can. I mean, you all became helpers today. Holly talked to you. She talked to your parents. Said, how do you want to help? How do you want to help? And you said, I'll be on the welcome team, or I'll help with the coffee, or I'll help with the chairs, or I'll sing a song, or I'll do a reading. Right? I'll do those things. You said yes to that. That's helping. And every Sunday, I'm telling you, every Sunday, there are people who say yes to helping. There are people who say yes to helping. Every Sunday, on all these teams, there are people who say yes. I mean, that's what service is about. They don't come up here and say, well, Paula, you didn't acknowledge me today. Right? That's not the way it works. Our musicians show up. They do these wonderful things. I sent a song to Perry on Thursday, and I said, do you know this song? I'm thinking, you know, it's really late to ask somebody to learn a song, isn't it? 2 hours later, Perry writes back and said, got it, I have it for Sunday. I'm like, you know, service, saying yes to what you can do, to your unique talents, whatever that seed is in you. Yeah, that's what it's about. All our teams. Who did I miss? The logistics team, the hospitality team, the youth ed team, the music team, the ministry team, with Aubrey being there every Sunday. Spiritual Soul Center is about 3 things, has been from the start. Grow, serve, transform. Hey, we hit grow at the last Kids Sunday, the last Fifth Sunday. How we grow according to how we are, how we grow in community, how we grow in our spiritual awareness, and now serve. And now we're talking, and you know, we didn't even think about this. Holly and I didn't sit down and say, well, let's talk about grow first and then serve. But this is what came out. It's no surprise to me. You know, service. And if we grow together and grow individually and grow for ourselves and our community and we serve each other and ourselves, transformation happens. Our heart lightens up, becomes a light, becomes a light. That's what happens. And that's what Soul Center is all about. It really is. It really is. So we have to decide. We have to decide what kind of person we want to be. And Aubrey's going to come up now and read a poem to finish out my lesson here about service. About service.
There are two kinds of people on earth today. Just two kinds of people, no more, I say. Not the sinner and saint, for it's well understood. The good are half bad, and the bad are half good. Not the rich and the poor, for the rate a man's wealth. You must first know the state of his conscience and health. Not the humble and proud, for in life's little span, who puts on vain airs is not counted a man. Not the happy and sad, for the swift flying years bring each one her laughter and each one her tears. No, the two kinds of people on earth, I mean, are the people who lift and the people who lean. Wherever you go, you'll find the earth's masses are always divided in these two classes, and oddly enough, you will find two, I ween. There's only one lifter to 20 who lean. In which class are you? Are you easing load or overtaxing lifters who toll down the road? Are you a leaner who lets others share your position of labor, or worry and care?
I mean, that's the choice. You know, the poem gets it right on the money. Are you a lifter? Or are you a leaner? And that's the choice we get to make. The two classes of people according to this poem. And we get to decide when to say yes and when to say no, and how much we decide to serve. Do we lift or do we lean? Do we lift or do we lean? So we have a special meditation today that Perry's going to lead us in a chant as we think about that. Think about that. So I invite you to sing along, and you don't know this song maybe, but you'll catch on, and let's sing it together.
I don't know this song.
Yeah. So take a deep breath in, and listen up, and sing along, please.
I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice, spirit on earth, and who I am, and all I do is a blessing to
Shout out to Holly. Holly's still in Maine, but she helped us organize everything that's going to happen today. So when I say 1, 2, 3, we'll say, hey, Holly, right? 1, 2, 3. Hey, Holly! Yeah, so if she, and Bruce. Oh. Sorry, one more time. Hey, Holly and Bruce.
Hey,
1,
Bruce
2,
and Holly.
3. Hey, Holly and Bruce. All right.